name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I'm having trouble with my phone. I think I just did a boo-boo and it won't go up. um, I wanted to add to what I've been putting up about my kidnapping and from Buckingham Palace in 41, and who my father and mother are, and the way history was changed, and it brought in the New World Order, the Freemasons, the ones that's in control now, which is Elizabeth, illegal Elizabeth Mountbatten Windsor. Her father, George, was illegal. And the illegal takedown of my father, Edward VIII, who never married Wallis Simpson, a double did. I'll show you the pictures in a minute. But before I found out my real name, I was brought to Moulton in 41, left in a pigsty, is what it was. But it was near Cortland Air Base, and Joe Kennedy had been appointed ambassador to England by JFK. Well, JFK's the sons were flying in there when I was kidnapped, so you can understand they stayed at the embassy with their father. So the whole thing was orchestrated. I'll just make it short. Franklin Delano, his wife Eleanor, and his mother Sarah, how about that? And supposedly the Queen Mom, Elizabeth's mother, who's illegal, the end there was the Rothschilds to them. So the New World Order, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Kennedy clan, the Roosevelts, the Freemasons, that are now the global government. If you go back to 41 when I was kidnapped, and before then, you'll see the takedown and how they took over the British Empire by getting rid of my father, kidnapping me, Victoria II. There's an addendum to the forced abdication, so I'm the legal monarch. All the treaties are illegal, but all the treaties were signed by George VI, the brother who helped take down his own brother, the king, and kidnap me, Victoria II. So anyway, that was orchestrated, and all the things after then, if you watch all the treaties, the NATO, everything happened. Israel became a state. You should see everything. It was the takedown of the British Empire. The treaties allowed, that were signed by George VI, illegal, allowed the United States to put all its military bases and control Great Britain and use it as a launching pad to take over the world. I wanted to mention here, because before I found out about my kidnapping, I didn't find out until 83 when I ran in a political campaign and was flown to Larry Flint's home in Bel Air at the time, and he'd been shot in Lawrenceville, Georgia, and his attorney had been killed March the 6th, 78, and I was doing the book in Marietta, Georgia, at Moonraker Apartments. I may have said that. But he endorsed me, Mr. Flint did, in April of 84. Childers is the name I have to use. And, I was writing about mind control murders then when Flint was shot, how to modify behavior and program people to kill or appear to commit suicide. Or I was telling about Warren and Rosina Matthews, pathologists at one of the doctors I wrote about, Larry McDonald, U.S. Congressman, doctor at Piedmont Hospital. Warren and Rosina Matthews were forensic pathologists, and they knew how deaths appear to be made to appear as natural cause. So they could cure illnesses way back then. It's called, the belief, but there's more to it than that. But it's programming and mind control. But you make suicides, murders appear as suicide when, in cancer and any illness you can cure it and they can cause it, both ways. But anyway, Warren and Rosina Matthews were killed in Cobb County, Marietta, Georgia, and I'd written about them in the book too, in Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor. There was lists of them that went back further because I knew people were being killed like in patterns, but I didn't know the mechanism used, and that's mind control. MK Ultra was brought before Congress in 53, given a slap on the wrist, and you never heard of any mind control. You talk about a weapon that you're defenseless against. You don't even know you're getting it. And then if you try to tell someone, all the hospital, well, I better not mention any of them anymore. Look around you, people, and I don't need to tell you, look who controls everything. Your hospitals that are corporate, and your your pharmacies, and your chemicals, while I'm at it. All three of them put together form the biggest lobbyist in D.C., and really the corporations control things along with the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and now the illegal Windsor, Elizabethan family. But there was lists, what I wanted to say, there was lists of mind control murders that were done in patterns. I didn't know it was mind control until I worked for Dr. Forsyth, Kuchar, and McCoy in Atlanta. I was bookkeeper, secretary, and I found out that one of the cardiovascular doctors had put a chip in a bypass of a patient who was head of a corporation. And by doing so, they could control his decision making or kill him, whatever they wanted to do, and he wouldn't even know it. So, but this is one of them that surfaced yesterday. Someone mentioned the name, and I won't get into it. But it led me. It was a family of the Shah of Iran. I don't know how distant, but not too distant, I don't think. But when it was 1980, right after they put antifreeze in me, April Fool Day of 80. I'd done the book, a letter from the U.S. Attorney, William Harper, June the 23rd of 79. I thought it was the book. But anyway, the Shah flees Iran, January 16th of 79. Okay, he was shot from 41 until he died. He was murdered July of 80. I thought he was of cancer, they said. I thought they took him to Panama, and he died. Well, they murdered him. They caused him to have cancer. It's just, they murdered him. It's just like using a gun, only how do you prove you gave him cancer unless you've done it in patterns? So I wanted to get to this. Redstone Arsenal, how do you think NASA started hostage taking and forcing Warner von Braun and scientists to come over and start it? Now I wanted to get to, my father never married Wallis Simpson. That was a double. So I want to get to this real quick. I don't know if Diana was married, that she was kin to Commander Earl Simpson. He was the first husband of Wallis, who was supposed to have married my father, which is nothing but a cold-blooded lie. You should go back and read the books, The Duchess, The Secret Life of Windsor. I've just read on part of it where this is imposter that did this, not my father. My father was married to Georgia O'Keeffe's sister, the artist George O'Keeffe, my aunt. My mom's Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe. She was a school teacher. And look what they did when they had that power to do that. But anyway, here's my uncle. I wanted to guess this real quick in here. This is Uncle George, who they made the movie of. The King's Speech made him out to be the good guy. Here he is in 1939 with Roosevelt and Sarah and Eleanor, the First Lady. They were orchestrating 39, my kidnapping in 41, and Roosevelt had appointed Joe Kennedy ambassador to England, and in 41, JFK and his older son were flying into the embassy, and I was kidnapped and dropped off at Moulton, Alabama. The Cortland Air Base is near there in a pigsty. I'm not going to show the picture again, but you get the Rockefellers were married into Elizabeth's mother, the so-called Queen Mom. The Rothschilds did. So now then, it's illegal, and everything's illegal, the treaties, but you have to be able to enforce it. So this man, my dad, was a beautiful man. He never did any of these rotten things they accused him of. Instead, he lost his empire, 99 years seal put on it, and his daughter, me, was brought over here. The torture that happened to him. But anyway, before this tape goes off, I want to show you this. This is The caption, all this was lies, political enemies meet. The Duchess in sable shaking hands with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, 1940, October 41. They're bosom buddies. They're